Hello and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Jessica McDonald. I'm a knitting pattern designer and I am coming to you from a tiny town in the mountains of Idaho. This is my YouTube knitting podcast where I talk about what I'm knitting, what I'm designing, and the whole process of all of that. If you like those kind of videos, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and sign up for my email newsletter if you like my designs, because that's the best place to be to hear about new patterns and get the best discounts. I haven't filmed a podcast in what feels like a million years. I think it was back in June since my last one. For those of you who are usual viewers of my knitting podcast, I'm sorry to have left for so long. Our summer was just insane, and what really took it over the top was my oldest daughter brought home a virus back from camp, and it took me out for a solid month. I was extremely ill over the summer. So now I'm finally playing catch up. I've caught up in some other stuff, and now I've decided to sit down and film a podcast video for you all today. I have released 2 new patterns since my last podcast. So this podcast, I want to highlight those 2 new patterns. One you haven't seen at all. I know you've seen Northerly before, but you haven't seen the other one before. So I thought I would go over them all, and I'm going to put down in the description box down below this video, I'm going to put a special discount code on these. Well, it's actually 3 patterns because there's a children's version of this design as well. I'm going to put a discount code for these 3 patterns that you can use for the week following the publication of this video. So the day this video goes live, plus another week. For the week after the day the video goes live, there will be a special discount code on these designs because I didn't pop in here to let you know that they had been published. So I thought it was only fair if I would put a discount code here on YouTube as well for all of you who follow me on YouTube and are not subscribed to my email newsletter or follow me in other places. So without further ado, this one is called Northerly. If you are a usual watcher of this channel, you've seen this one before. I started it almost a year ago. In fact, I think I started it like 11 months ago, close to a year ago. I started working on this design, and the pattern was finally published back in September. It's October now, so about a month ago, a little less than a month ago, this pattern was published. It is a worsted weight, top-down, seamless drop shoulder pullover with these beautiful colorwork stripes. The yarn I used is Harrisville Designs Highland, which I think is perfect for this design. It's really soft and it's lightweight and lofty, and it also has a little bit of drape to the fabric, which works really well for this boxy kind of fit. This design is a top-down drop shoulder design, construction method that I kind of came up with on my own, because for this design I wanted to have stripes, and I wanted to have the stripes lay really nicely on the back. I'm going to turn around so you can see how they sit on the back. I didn't want to use the European drop shoulder method because on that one you have that line that goes down, and that would just mess up all of the stripes, and that line would have to come down super far in the larger sizes, and then you wouldn't have your first stripe until super low in the larger sizes. And I wanted the very first stripe to fall right here, right under the neckline. There's a little, turn towards the window so you can see it in the light. The neckline ends right here, and then the first stripe starts here. I wanted it as close to the neckline as possible without being so close to the neckline that the neckline might possibly, pull it and distort it. Sometimes when you have a stripe right next to the neckline and the neckline's maybe not quite perfect, you'll end up with a situation where the neckline pulls a little bit, and you can see it creates a little wave in your very first stripe. So I wanted to make sure there was a little buffer zone right there so that if you don't have your neckline exactly perfect, it's not going to pull your first stripe out of whack. And I wanted to have the first stripe on the front match up with the first stripe on the back. They're at the exact same level. I didn't want to have the stripe on the back be way lower than the stripe on the front. So long story short, I invented my own construction method. You're probably going to hear my dog walking around. She's very old, and today is cold and her paws are hurting, so she's pacing around quite a bit. So you'll probably hear her little clicky clack of her nails on the floor. She's already had her painkiller, and I can't give her more. It's just the reality of an old dog. Not very much fun at all for anyone, especially not her. Anyway, back to the sweater. I was talking about the stripe placement. So I invented my own top-down drop shoulder construction so that you have a nice fit in the shoulder and it falls nicely, but you don't have that big line across the back from when you knit the trapezoid. That is basically the back yoke of the European top-down drop shoulder method. I've used that method before in a few designs, but it just wasn't going to work for this one. And so I came up with another method that uses short rows to shape the shoulders. And you have your shoulder line, your shoulder seam, I guess you would call it, lays directly on top of your shoulder. And after you've worked the short rows and the neckline shaping, you're basically free to go with whatever design elements you want to put on the sweater. The child's version uses the exact same one, and it's smaller, so let me hold it up to show you. You have a really nice shoulder slope there formed with your short rows, and then you have, oh, there's mud all over this. Then you have an open canvas to put your design on. But don't be scared, German short rows are not scary, but since I know a lot of you aren't really comfortable with short rows, my class that's going to be coming out at the very end of the year goes over this exact sweater construction method, and we'll walk through the whole thing. So if you're scared about this, the short rows in the shoulders, but you want to knit the sweater, just wait until the end of the year when I put my class out. It will be free on YouTube here, and then you can see exactly how it's done. You can follow along with it, and then you can confidently knit this sweater. So for mine, I chose the colors Midnight Blue is my main color, and then Foliage is the golden color, and I've got Silver Mist is the gray for the stripes. Let me show you the color work a little bit. It's very simple, only a 2-stitch repeat. It's a very, very simple stripe motif. And then for Brenna's, it's the exact same design except shrunk down for children. It's called Little Northerly. Brenna chose her colors, and she has Hyacinth for her main color, and Aster is her first contrast color, which is the pink, and then just white for the main color of the stripes, the center of the stripes. It's covered in mud in the back. I see this here. Like, as soon as it got cold, she wore it for 2 weeks straight. I'm not kidding you, 2 weeks straight, every single day she wore it. She even wore it to bed some nights, and now it's all dirty and needs to be washed. The collar is picked up after the fact, and it's a double folded collar. Very cozy, very comfy. So this is Northerly. It's a little bit oversized, but I didn't do it super duper sloppy fitting oversized. It's big enough that it will layer nicely over a base layer or a long sleeve t-shirt, but it's not so loose and oversized that it won't fit under their jacket. So there's Little Northerly and Northerly, and there's a discount on these two sweaters for the first week after this video comes out. I'll put links to the patterns in the description box down below. I'll also put the discount code information in the description box down below. Now let's talk about the one you haven't seen at all. This is a collaboration with Lavender Loon yarn, and I used her DK weight merino rambouillet. I don't know if she still has the kits up on her website. I will put a link to her yarn in the description box down below as well. This is an extremely soft yarn. As I have been progressing in my knitting journey, I've been going more towards rustic yarns as opposed to super soft yarns, and this one is a super soft yarn. This one is insanely soft. It's like you could wrap a baby in this. It's very soft. It is, however, already pilling, even though I've only worn it a few times, which is, so when you have softness, it will be super soft, but the downside is it's gonna pill. That's just the reality of a super soft yarn. So here's this one. I am gonna change real quick into this sweater. Well, no, I'm not gonna change real quick. I'm going to show you the design and then I'll change into it, okay? This one's called Bluebird. It is thus named because the blue reminds me of bluebirds, and also the week that the yarn arrived, like literally as I was walking from the mailbox back to my house with the mail, with the yarn package, I saw the first bluebird of the spring came back. So I decided to name this one Bluebird in honor of the first bluebird and also the color. For this one, I really wanted to do a geometric design that was mirrored from the top to the bottom. So if you look at it, this is mirrored down here, and this also is mirrored here, and it's mirrored here in the center too. And then here you have two stacked, they're not diamonds because they're not elongated, but two stacked geometric triangle motifs that are different sizes, but you mirror here and you mirror here. And so the whole thing is just kind of like the same up here as it is down here, which I really like. I really wanted to do the mirroring, and I really wanted to do geometric designs because they're super fun to knit. I do a lot of organic designs, like inspired by trees and grass and leaves and flowers and stuff. But when you're knitting a geometric design, you can easily read your knitting. You can see exactly what you did in the last row, and you know exactly what you need to do in the next row, whether you're making the diamond grow out or grow in. And so it's really fun to knit. I really enjoy knitting it because you really don't have to think about it. You don't really have to refer to the chart too often, you know, look at it every once in a while, make sure you're in the right part of the diamond, which, I mean, in all fairness, it's a lot easier for me to do that because I'm the person who made the chart, so I know exactly where it's going and why. But it's just, you can just sit and just lose yourself in the rhythm of knitting those stitches and creating the diamonds, and I just really, really enjoy knitting the geometric motifs. It's just super relaxing. I don't have to count a lot because the floats are always really short. That's another positive in this design, is the floats are really short. So if you haven't knit colorwork before and you want a first colorwork sweater, Bluebird would actually be a really fantastic option for you because it's really easy to memorize the repeats and to keep track of where you're going, and the floats are nice and short, so you don't have as much work managing the tension. It's not as much work to manage the tension of your colorwork when the floats are short. But I really enjoyed knitting it. Very potato chippy, couldn't put it down. One thing I wanted to show you, so there are no short rows. This is the back. There are no short rows right after the neckline. The short rows are all down here. So they're invisible into the back yoke, but you still have a really nice fitting neckline. But one little tip, when you're weaving in the ends, just take a little piece of your contrast color and put it through your ribbing. So you see how it's through a knit column? I just put it through a few times. I don't even knot it. I just wrap it around 2 or 3 times and then cut it short. And since it's not superwash, this is actual wool, not superwash wool, then it stays in place nicely, and you have this little tag in the back of your sweater, so you don't have to try to keep track of what's front and back because you have this. And it doesn't create a huge bump, and it's not itchy or bothersome. So you also can't see it from the other side. Well, you can see it a tiny little bit, but we'll live with that. I'm gonna put this on real quick so you can see how it looks. This is how it looks when it's on. You can't see my whole body. I'm gonna stand up real quick so you can see all of it. That's how it looks on. I don't do well at inserting B-roll or pictures because that's just technology I don't want to learn. It's just a simple, classic round yoke pullover. I went for a size that doesn't have very much positive ease because I thought it would be kind of nice after knitting something that fits really loosely and oversized, which this one has 10 inches of positive ease. I thought it might be kind of nice to have one that fits really close, just kind of cover both ends of the spectrum. So this one only has 2 inches of positive ease. Bluebird only has 2 inches of positive ease for me. And that's how she looks. One thing you may have noticed when I stood up is this change in color here. I did not get enough yarn originally. I asked for 5 skeins, and I knit through the 5 skeins, and I ran out of yarn. And I was like, well, do I crop it super duper short? As you can see, where I ran out is right here. Like my belly button's right there. It was even above my belly button. I was like, do I crop it extremely short, or do I just get another skein and keep knitting? This is hand-dyed yarn, so there is the risk that it's going to be a slightly different color in each dye lot, which is normal for every yarn, but especially so in hand-dyed yarn. So I emailed Samantha and I'm like, hey, send me another skein of yarn because I did not ask you for enough originally, and the new skein was a lot more gray, than the original skeins. And so I have a bit of a color change in the bottom half of my sweater, which honestly, it doesn't bother me. A few years ago, it probably would have driven me crazy and I probably wouldn't have worn it. But now, like, it's okay. It's fine. I should have gotten enough yarn in the first place, but I didn't. But it's okay. It's a little bit different color, but it's fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I still wear this sweater. It doesn't bother me when I'm wearing it. I'm not looking at myself when I'm wearing it, so it really doesn't bother me at all that the bottom is a different shade of blue than the top. I did try to blend it in. I don't know if you can see in here, but I tried to like fade it in, like one round of the new color, one round of the old color, etc., until eventually fading into the new color from the old. But it didn't give me a seamless transition. I get kind of a stripy effect through here, and then it's just obviously a different color. So it didn't work out exactly right, but it's okay. I'm fine with it. I've decided that it doesn't actually bother me all that much, and I'm just gonna continue wearing it because this is a really, really soft sweater. It's so cozy and soft. This yarn is beautiful. I really enjoyed working with it. It's very bouncy and it has really good stitch definition. So if you were looking for a really soft hand-dyed yarn to knit something textured in, this would actually be a really great option as well, because I think it would have really good stitch definition in like cables or even a knit purl texture. So I think it would be really fantastic for that. It worked really well in the color work as well. Sometimes when you're working with a really soft and kind of slipperier yarn, when you're knitting color work, you'll end up with a lot of bumps in your color work as you knit, but in this case it was entirely smooth. But that's probably also because of the geometric pattern, and the short floats also really helps with that a lot as well. So it's a beautiful yarn. It's a beautiful sweater. The colors are Norway Lake, and it's an undyed white, which she has now given a name on her website, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway, I'll put a link to this yarn in the description box down below. I'll also put a link to this sweater in the description box down below, and you can get a discount on the pattern for the first week after this video goes live. And if it is later than that, if you're watching this video later than that and you would still like a discount, you can sign up for my email newsletter and look for your welcome email, and there'll be a discount code for 20% off your first pattern purchase that you can use on this if you would like. So those are my two new designs that I have published since the last time I have talked to you all. I'm gonna leave it here, and in my next episode I will show you what I have knitted since these patterns have gone live. So go drop down into the description box down below this video to find the links to the pattern and the discount information if it is within the first week after this video has gone live. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, sign up for my email newsletter, and keep an eye out for my next podcast, because I will show you some whips, or maybe just one whip. Maybe two whips. We'll see how much I cast on before then. Bye.